So let's start with our special focus today, the AI Summit, the big summit that's grabbed all the headlines for the right and wrong reasons in the national capital. The big question that I've posed at the India Today AI Summit is quite simply this. Is India's AI push the real deal, or is it more about hype? That's the question I want to kick off this AI special with Amitabh Kant, former CEO Niti Aayog, and someone who knows a thing or two about organizing mega events. Listen in. Please give a big hand to Amitabh Kant, one of the country's most distinguished bureaucrats and government officers. Good to have you.
Thank you.
I'm going to provoke you a bit. A couple of years ago, the G20 was held in India, went completely smoothly. Everyone had raving reviews. On the other hand, the AI Summit, at least on day one, led to some criticism of chaos. The crowds were too much, not being handled well enough. How important is that when you stage an event of this on scale, you need to get your event management right? I'm asking you that because you won that hat in the past. Do you believe that's an unfair criticism given the scale of what is being attempted the first time an AI summit is being held in the global south?
Rajdeep, I've been there for 2 days. There's been a huge energy and tremendous amount of vibrancy there. I think the number of people, especially young people of India who've gathered there for this AI summit has just been overwhelming. I think there were some challenges on the first day, but by the second day, it's smoothened out a lot. I did 2 sessions yesterday. It was absolute, there was absolute smoothness all over. So I think probably the first day, there's too many young people with a lot of interest in AI who had descended. But by yesterday, everything had settled down.
I'm asking you, would you have done it anywhere differently? Would you have ensured that it was far more targeted, maybe 2 days where you just focused on expertise in AI and then maybe 2 days opened it up to the masses?
So, I thought probably the exhibition should have been to the consumers, everybody, open up the exhibition because it has a huge learning experience for the students, everyone, and do a little tighter business-to-business meetings, and the interactions and the meeting rooms could have been a little business-to-business. But we all, there's been so much of interest by university students, colleges, etc. Such vast interest that probably we didn't anticipate that so many people will come to participate in the AI Summit.
Which brings me to my question. The energy of India, its young entrepreneurs, its startups, its innovators is undoubted. We have terrific young engineers with all kinds of ideas. But which is why I ask you, can this AI revolution be led by the state government, i.e. bureaucracy, or must it be left to these young innovators, give them far more autonomy, just be there to enable them rather than direct them? Is that really the challenge?
So the key to AI...
Now, why should an IAS officer decide rather than a young innovator?
No, I totally agree with you. I was going to second what you are saying, that an AI revolution can only be fueled by cutting-edge entrepreneurs, not by ministers or not by civil servants like me. What an AI revolution requires is basically 3 things: great talent, great opening up of data sets, and allowing computing power to flow to them. What you're seeing is examples of Sarvam doing multilingual models, etc., is because the government has acted as a facilitator to provide them computing power, but it's their entrepreneurship. The government opens up a vast amount of data through AI Kosh. So the more you open it up, the better it is to create large language models and small language models, and that will enable India to drive the AI revolution forward. There are 2 critical things. One is that if you look at the western part of the world, there's huge computing power. If you look at the new working operation of OpenAI with NVIDIA, it talks about 11 gigawatt of power, which is 5 million computing power. So the government's job is really to see that many of these young entrepreneurs get more and more of GPUs, more and more of computing power. That the government has to act as a facilitator. But enterprise really disruption has to come from startups.
The reason I'm asking you this again, Mr. Kant, is there have been two models that seemingly dominate the world of AI. One is the Chinese model, centralized, authoritarian, but seemingly very successful at the moment because they were early investors in the AI project. And you've got the American model, the Bay Area model, which is driven purely by private entrepreneurship and innovation. What is the model that you believe is best suited for India?
So the Indian model has to be based on digital public infrastructure for artificial intelligence, because you can't create a digital divide. The Western world, the Bay Area is creating a huge digital divide. America is the only country in the world which holds 26% of the GDP of the world and 50% of the market capitalization with 4% of the population, but 70% of the people do not have a safety net. You can't have AI as a new technology worsening the digital divide. India must ensure that we are able to make it affordable, we are able to make it accessible, we are able to make it multilingual. If AI is tomorrow not able to work on low bandwidth, if it is limited to the English language, it is not fit for purpose. And therefore, India's job is to provide the safeguards, the railguards, which make it open source, open API, globally interoperable, but ensure that we are able to provide AI as a commodity for all Indians in different languages and provide voice over text for all Indians to make AI accessible.
That's fascinating, again, because if you want AI accessible to 100 billion people, just the sheer size of it, that requires enormous computing power, which in turn needs energy and data infrastructure. How do you build that energy and data infrastructure overnight? Is a tax holiday of the kind that the budget has given to set up large data centers enough, or do you need to do much more?
So let me come to the next point, which is about doing it sustainably. Much of what is being driven as AI today is being driven by fossil fuel across the world. India has the opportunity, because India is the only country in the world which has about 260 gigawatt of renewable energy. India has the climatic conditions to do it. India is the only country today in the world which has one grid across the country. And India has opened up the small modular reactor for the private sectors. Therefore, my belief is that AI, which is a big guzzler of energy and today consumes more energy than the country of Japan, requires sustainable energy. It requires clean energy. It requires renewable energy and small modular reactors. It requires smartening up your transmission and grid. It requires the climatic conditions to do it. It requires young entrepreneurship to push this in a bigger way. No other country is poised to do it in a sustainable manner better than India. India is best positioned to do it because of its climatic conditions.
Yeah, but that's going to take time. And you know, this is not going to happen overnight. So are we going to end up playing catch up to the Chinese and the Americans? I mean, will China and America lead the world when it comes to AI innovation, and we simply try and get onto the bandwagon sooner rather than later? Can we be a leader at all? Or are we simply playing catch up and are long distance away from really being a serious AI player?
So, Rajdeep, first and foremost, get this very clear, absolutely clear in your mind, that the battle for technology is never, never won by the first mover. Clive Osborne did the first laptop. He went bust. The battle was won by Apple in the long run. They were not the first mover. Alta Vista did the first internet. They never won the battle. The battle was won by Google. And therefore, Alta Vista was sold out as a non-performing asset. So the battle for technology is fought over long term, and therefore talent, skills, and data, and backed by good computing power with a long-term game, and that is without talent, without skills, and without data. Today, what is happening is that Indian data is fueling many of the Western models. For Servam to become better and better as a multilingual model, it needs to be fueled by Indian data. It gets more and more sophisticated with Indian data. And therefore, data is key, skills are key, and you need to look at a long-term perspective and not a perspective of today.
Yeah, but they're building the foundational models. They've already built the foundational models. Do we compete with them
So
in that space?
India is building 10 large language models, which are being supported by the government of India with computing power, and many more smaller applications are being done. Much of this battle will play out.
So it's not catch up?
No. Much of this battle will be played out in the next 12 to 18 months. The important thing, Rajdeep, is also that you have to use much more sophisticated software with limited computing power. You have to do an optimization of computing power, which is what the Chinese are presently doing. They're not using the latest Blackwell. In fact, the Chinese government stopped NVIDIA's latest Blackwell model. They are saying we'll do it with limited computing power, but better software. Nobody has the better sophisticated software skills than the Indians have. Nobody has the data which India has. Nobody has the trained manpower which India has.
Okay, let me ask you, therefore, in conclusion, it's a question that we are asking all our panelists at this India Today AI Summit, which is quite simply this. And you were honest enough to accept that there is the real fear that this AI revolution in a country like India could lead to an AI divide, much like the digital divide. 100 billion people to be trained in AI over the next decade. Do you fear it could lead to job losses, the kind of disruption that takes place, and therefore this AI revolution could end up devouring us? While there are advantages, certainly, there is that fear that lurks below the surface of large-scale job losses, especially in unskilled labor.
So there'll be job losses of a particular kind, but there'll be job gains of data scientists, of machine learners, of product engineers. There's a huge amount of work to be done in terms of changing the curriculums of all our engineering institutions, of all our management institutions. Today, I mean, at my age, I've learned coding from getting onto Claude at my age. So I think the challenge will be really to put AI in the hands of young students from class 3 onwards as they grow and evolve over the years. India should produce a generation of AI engineers.
And you've also accepted, which is rare for a government officer or a former government officer, that the government doesn't know best. That at least when it comes to AI, please leave it to the great entrepreneurial energies and skills of the people of this country.
In all technology areas, put the entrepreneurs right there. It's free enterprise which should make India grow and prosper for the next 3 decades. The Prime Minister's vision of a $30+ trillion economy can only be achieved with free enterprise.
Amitabh Kant, for as always being provocative and saying things that others are sometimes hesitant to speak out. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you in a new avatar. In your AI avatar sooner rather than later.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Amitabh Kant, please give him a very big hand.
Great pleasure.